Linda Ann Stewart here. Are you a perfectionist? Do you have to get everything done perfectly before you move on? Is it successful for you? I'll bet it's probably not. That's because perfectionism, it's an unreachable goal, just unreachable. It doesn't serve you and it doesn't allow you to thrive. Not at all. It actually holds you prisoner to its demands. It holds you prisoner and it lies to you and it lures you into the idea that it's going to help you to excel. But it does exactly the opposite. It can't do that. It actually derails your ability to excel. Perfectionism and excelling or excellence are two completely different things. Perfectionism, it's a dead end. Excellence, however, can always be improved. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about perfection and perfectionism and what it does and how you can kind of start to get over it. So I'm Linda Ann Stewart, and I'm a vision strategist. For almost 30 years, I've been a hypnotherapist and coach. People have come to see me to create change in their lives. Early on, though, I discovered that someone had to also have a vision of where they wanted to end up with the change they wanted, with their goal, if they truly wanted to be successful with it. So now, as a vision strategist, I help women entrepreneurs and small business owners get clear on their vision, to get focused on the strategies, to get back in control so that they're able to accelerate to the next level of their business. So Voltaire said, perfection is the enemy of the good. It's the enemy of the good. It's also the enemy of innovation and creativity. Believe it or not, because those things are messy and disorganized just by their very nature. They are designed to create order out of chaos. But first, chaos needs to reign. It needs to be there. Now, did you shudder when I mentioned that? I'll bet you did, and I'll bet it goes against everything that you've ever believed. Okay, I have an example for you. I had a friend who was an artist, and she was blocked. Now, she worked in oils. That was her specialty. And she wanted her paintings to be perfect. They were very, very detailed paintings. So she'd work and rework just one area of the painting. But she'd gotten to the point where she wasn't finishing anything. So to break through this block, to start being able to move forward again, to complete some things, she wanted to loosen up. So she decided to take a watercolor class from a friend of hers. Well, the first class, she was absolutely shocked to her bones when the teacher said, give yourself permission to paint the worst picture you ever have. And my friend was almost immobilized by this instruction. I can't do that, she said. I have to do things, I have to do my best. Well, after a lot of encouragement, she was finally able to let go of control, to experiment, and to play. And it made her realize that her attachment to perfectionism was what was blocking her. And she began, when she was able to get over it, she began completing paintings again. So are you like my friend? Are you a perfectionist? Well, have you ever heard the saying, anything worth doing is worth doing well? Well, many people read that to mean perfectly. Anything worth doing is worth doing perfectly. That's the way my friend thought it. But I prefer the quote by G.K. Chesterton. Anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Now, if you're a perfectionist, did you wince at that? Yeah, it's completely opposite of everything you've were taught, or probably have acted on over your lifetime. And that's perfectly natural. But I promise you, the sky is not going to fall if you do something badly. The earth will continue to spin. No one is going to think less of you. You're the one who's putting pressure on yourself, just like my friend was. And no one else is going to care that much. You're the one that's blocking your progress and your vision, just like my artist friend was doing it to herself. So when you first start working on something, when you first start a new enterprise, don't expect yourself to be perfect. When my friend went into watercolor, she wasn't perfect. You're going to do poorly at first. It's natural. A child doesn't walk the first time they get up on their feet, do they? No. You're not going to be an expert the first time out when you start something new. It's just not going to happen. Did that rock you down to your core? Okay, I understand. You have to practice at something new before you can reasonably, and I mean reasonably, expect to master it. You'll just have to keep working at it, practicing at it. Practice sometimes makes perfect, but the idea is progress, not perfection. Now, sometimes perfectionists procrastinate and they rework what they've already done just to avoid completing a project. That's their whole goal, is to avoid completing it, because it keeps them from facing judgment, criticism, or rejection. But most of that negativity comes from them, comes from inside them, just like it did for my friend. And like I said, most of the people, they're not going to care. They're just not. And just like Voltaire said, perfection is the enemy of good. It's the enemy of progress, and it's the enemy of achieving your vision. Your path to your vision or the completion of a project is not going to go in a straight line. It just isn't. It's going to be messy. I know, I'm sure, isn't that hard to accept? But you're going to have to accept it. It just is. Now, there are going to be setbacks. There are also going to be leaps forward. You're going to learn along the way. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make different decisions. That's the way progress works. It's messy. Now, you can still have high standards. Not saying that you shouldn't. You can still have high standards. Just set reasonable ones. Reasonable ones. Don't sacrifice progress or completion to some impossible ideal. If you start procrastinating and you notice it, then you know that standard, that particular standard, is too demanding. So scale it back and just start. Just take a step, take another one, and keep taking them until it's done. Just get it done. Even if it's done badly, get it done. Now, you'll eventually get used to this standard. I know it'll be hard, but you will eventually get used to it. You're just training yourself to get used to it. And when you do, you are much more likely to excel. You'll be happier, and you will definitely be more successful because you are completing things. Now, if you'd like some more tips on how to make your day flow more smoothly, download my free guide, Take Control of Your Day. That can be found at www.linda-annstewart.com/guide, guide.html. So thank you so much for watching. And I am sure this was hard, but I hope you've gotten some encouragement to loosen some of your perfectionistic tendencies, because I know that it will be well worth your while. So take care.